Luke and Joel Smallbone, brothers from the Smallbone family, are with me now. Guys, how are you?
Well. From the bowels of an arena in Kansas City a month or so ago to your show today, and I don't want to give a spoiler to the listeners, but to the Grand Ole Opry in a couple weeks.
I know, that's crazy. That's crazy. I can't thank you guys enough for that. It's nuts. Do you have any? Well, we'll get into that some other time on the air or off the air.
Right.
Tell me about the film that you guys have out in what do they? It's not.
Yeah. It's actually in. Well, first of all, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Mate, and loved our time together. It's in 1,500 theaters across America. So here's the backstory, Glenn. We love Christmas. We love Christmas tours. They've actually sort of become a hallmark of Luke's and my band fk&c, particularly this song, The Little Drummer Boy. We did sort of a very obvious version of it that Bing Crosby or Frank Sinatra never thought of, and that is we put a load of drums on a song about a boy playing a drum. And I mean, I'll have TSA agents come to me and be like, hey, they won't be like, you're part of fk&c. They'll be like, hey, you're the drummer boy guy, right? So you've made it when an American TSA agent calls it. But the trouble is when we do these Christmas tours, the season's so short.
I know.
And so we can only do about 10 or 12 shows every year. And so we end up, when we announce it, 3/4 of America and the rest of the world are all just really upset at us because we can't get to them. And so this was our attempt, in a holiday that I feel like we need to be reminded of these great hallmarks of what it means to be human: love and joy and peace, and the redemption that comes through God. We need to be reminded of this. So we took a film crew, we put them in the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas last year, and captured a cinematic concert experience for the whole family of our live show. And my wife literally, Glenn, turned to me when she watched the screen and she was like, Joel, I think this is better than your actual live show. So I was sort of encouraged and insulted all at the same time.
Right. I have to tell you, who is the artistic director of the show?
Well, we all do it together, Glenn. This is Luke here. I mean, look, that's one of the privileges of being able to do work. Joel and I are brothers from the same mother, from the same father.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the privileges of working together is actually being able to, create these things together. Our brother Daniel is actually the show designer, but we work on this all together. And so, when it comes down to the set lists, the visuals, the technology, we're involved with all of it because we've actually done this since we were very young boys. Our older sister was an artist by the name of Rebecca St. James, and we went out the road with her. And so I think I was like a lighting director at 14 or 15. Joel was a
we broke a bunch of child labor laws somewhere in there.
So you throw this all together and you create these shows, and that's one of the things that I love about what we get to do is we get to do it together.
I have to tell you, it was awesome. It's one of the best shows I've seen. I haven't seen the Christmas one yet. I've heard the music, but I haven't seen the actual show. But your music and the staging was. I mean, I sat there with my wife and we were with a bunch of friends, and I said, "This is incredible." And if you aren't a Christian, you'd walk in here and you'd have really not necessarily any idea if you hadn't really listened to the lyrics, but you would feel what you're feeling. And it just is such a great experience.
Yeah, that's kind, man. Look, in our interpretation, at least, the idea of being a Christian or being a Jesus follower, it's an invitation, right? And also, it's a pretty enormous claim that we are in touch with the creator of the universe, that we're in touch with the creator of creativity, the creator of arts, the creator of the Sistine Chapels, and so on. And yet, so often in the modern context, our art feels like second fiddle to pop culture. And yet, and you know this as a bit of a historian yourself, throughout history, the religious arts have led the way.
Yeah.
And so, man, we take it so seriously, not for the sake of ego, and at least on our better days, not for the sake of our, self-aggrandizing, but for the sake of people looking at this and going, my goodness, what a great God that they must be in touch with to put on and to be inspired to do these types of things.
So have you guys been tempted at all to, in the old days, when you'd go to a Christian concert, they would kind of preach at you and, try to convert. And what I loved about it was all there, but it was not in your face. It wasn't, you weren't overtly saying, hey, come to Christ. And so nobody could possibly be offended. It was just such a great way to present the message and have people go, what makes them different? Have you been tempted to be more obvious?
Be more obvious. An interesting way of putting it. Look, I'm a big, I try to be a big historian, and St. Francis of Assisi was a saint many, many years ago, and he had a quote that as a young boy really affected me. And he says, preach the gospel, and if necessary, use words.
Uh-huh.
And look, I think that statement should poke at a lot of us as Christians, because our lives should be so unbelievably joyful. Our work should be so unbelievably good that sometimes words are required, but I think that most of the time they're not. It's the presence that you bring that oftentimes people are left talking about. And so I think that for us, man, we try to take that statement we literally. You come into that room, hopefully you feel it, and you kind of know what's going on, and that's our hope.
So when I saw you in Kansas City, I had forgotten that I know the name Smallbone, obviously. I know your brother. He worked on one of my early book tours. I've seen your movie of your family and everything else. But I had forgotten that at one point, you two worked for me. You did and you reminded me of that, and I'm like,
Luke,
what?
What did you do, Luke? Weren't you a lighting tech or something?
No, so our brother Ben is a film director as well, and I guess somehow we were working together, Glenn, because your team or somebody had said, hey, what if we do it like a day in the life of Glenn Beck? And so we started at your house, and we filmed you walking out, and then we filmed you as you went to work that day. But the funny part was, I was there to be like the sound and the audio guy. And before you came out of the door, the lav mic that was meant to go onto you, I dropped and literally broke it. And so the rest of the day, for those of you who are listening, if you see those guys are holding that massive mic above people's heads, to kind of get good audio, usually that's like the backup mic. Well, that day I made a mistake, broken the mic, and so I'm having to chase, Glenn around all day with this massive mic because I had broken the lav mic. So, yes, we worked together many, many years ago. And it's kind of a small world and a crazy story.
A crazy story to look at where you are now. You're massive worldwide. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. It's this better than anyone. It's a team. It's a team sport, right? This whole idea of being human was never meant to be an individual, concept. We were meant to do this together. And I think that's what, for King Country represents. That's what these live show represents. It's collaboration. It's compromise. It's creatively putting our minds together. And that's what the Drum Boy Christmas Live, in cinemas really represents. It's like we took the same film crew from our movie Unsung Hero that was released. It's basically our parents' story. Luke produced it, and I play our dad in the film, which I dubbed a very expensive therapy session. But we took the same film crew and we put them in that Toyota Center to capture this. So what I love about this concert film and what we've gotten to do live, but also what we're getting to do cinematically now, is that we're getting to invite people not only in America, but this film's going up to Canada. It's going across to the UK. We're playing a couple shows in the UK at the O2 Indigo Theatre next week. It's going down to Australia. It's going to New Zealand. And so this is the beauty, and you know this with radio, right? We're talking right now, and there's thousands and thousands of people listening to this. It's just this is when art and technology come together. You're able to do something really cool.
So we're talking to For King and Country. They're a Drummer Boy Christmas Live. Will be available in select theaters December 5th. What day is it? Is that today?
The 6th.
It's yesterday.
Now.
Wow.
It's right now.
Yeah, through the 19th. And if you've never seen them, I cannot explain how good they are. They are really, really great. You want to get into the Christmas mood, I can guarantee a good time. How do you get tickets?
I think you should be able to go to your local theater, but fathomevents.com. It's kind of got all of the theaters. I think it uses your zip code and to be able to direct you to the place to kind of go see your at your local theater. Yeah.
Great. ForKingandCountry.com. And you can follow them on Twitter at 4 King and Country. God bless you guys. We'll see you soon. Thank you.
See you, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye.